Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Bonnie Blue once again. Now, I didn't think we were going to, and then a clip came up on my Twitter and I was just aghast. I know that there's a lot of people that might think that this is a reaction against OnlyFans, and I think that if you actually know me, that's not the case at all, because I have no issue with OnlyFans. What I have an issue with is a level of spectacle that ignores any type of safety or logic, basic common sense. We'll get into it, but before we do that, I did want to thank today's sponsor, which is Adam & Eve. Adam & Eve is America's largest marketer of adult products, and they've been in business for over 50 years. What's awesome about them is that they provide excellent service all around, including 24/7 customer support, 90-day no-hassle returns, and have discreet packaging. On top of this, 20% of their profits go towards helping the fight against the spread of HIV around the world. Adam & Eve is offering 4 toys for $20 while supplies last. Go to adamandeve.com/glare. Thank you, Adam & Eve, for sponsoring this video. I think I've already voiced this, but I think generally more people should get diaries again. And by that I mean, I think people are very comfortable sharing things online, and perhaps too much. Now, I think one of the core things about OnlyFans, in my mind, is that it's curated, in the sense that, contrary to making porn with a production company, a lot of people, as far as I know, are their own bosses. So they decide if they're taking pictures, if they're making videos, where they're taking the pictures and videos, with who. That's what makes it safe, is that it's all in your control. And that's why I tendentially have no problem with OnlyFans, because it is all within the control of the individual. Now, that to me, in my head, makes it a private sphere thing, in the sense of all of your content is based on what you want to do, and it's behind a paywall. So it's not just like content you find on, I don't know, Pornhub that was made by God knows what production company, where the actresses or whatever probably have very little choice on what they want to do unless they have some level of fame. I don't know how the industry works, so don't come for me on that. It becomes different when someone on OnlyFans begins to, first of all, almost transcend OnlyFans, in the sense of, I didn't go on OnlyFans, I didn't go on Pornhub, I was minding my business on Twitter, and this still came up on my timeline. So that's not Bonnie Blue's fault. Like, if people are recirculating her stuff, I don't know who's putting everything out there. I don't know how many of these things are leaks. I have no idea. But the fact is that all of this content is coming into my mainstream content. So I did not sign up to see any of that bullshit, okay? The other thing is that, also, what Bonnie Blue is doing is almost like taking away the safety aspect of it, and purposefully, in my opinion, doing dangerous things for the clicks. Now, you might be wondering, Julia, what are you talking about? So we've already discussed the 101 men in 24 hours, right? And I think that speaks for itself. Let's remember, not everyone had a medical certificate saying that they were all clean, that they were all good. We also don't know who any of these people are. Do we know if they have a criminal record? I doubt they went that far in checking. So, risk-taking behavior, that box has been ticked, that ship has sailed. Now, where are we? Well, I was on Twitter, and this was great because I was around family when this came up. Thankfully, nobody was looking at my screen.
Top tip, guys. I like it rough. Do you want to spend 2 minutes with me alone, or double it and pass it to your friends?
Alone.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be greedy?
Oh, yes.
Okay. What are you going to do to me in that 2 minutes?
Well, you're about to find out. I'm just going to say we're going to have fun.
Well, let's have some fun and see what he does. Did you have fun?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend me to your dad?
My dad, family, friends, everyone.
And what would you want to do to me next time?
Want to get a bit more intimate, get a bit more rough, maybe a bit more dirty. We'll see.
Top tip, guys. I like it rough.
Nothing crazy happens in this video, right? But I do think that we are still on the same really fucked up trajectory of, you do not know who you're dealing with. And I think that's also what concerns me, is the kind of anonymity of it all, in the sense of, yeah, we see this guy, we see his face, but who the fuck is he? Who the fuck is he to her? And I'm not here to give anyone a lecture about, you have to be in love to have sex, okay? No. But this is a basic question of safety. Like, do you know this man's name? Do you have his full name? Do you know, like, if he did anything Could you report him to the police? Would you have a name to report? Because realistically, you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. And the more this goes on, the more I think it's an attempt to normalize behavior that's absolutely abnormal. And I know that it's kind of working because there are plenty of people who tell me that I'm like sex negative or the opposite of sex positive because I think this is a level of fuckery that is honestly almost on the depraved. I don't know if this has become a fetish type of thing of like, I don't know who I'm, engaging with. Anything could happen, which I guess that's it. But the issue here is that this should never, ever, ever be interpreted as, first of all, something you should ever do. Period. But also, there's nothing normal about this, and I also feel like this continues to go on what I was saying before, the weird blur between the public and the domestic sphere, or public and private sphere, let's put it that way. What this is also normalizing, which is also what alarms me deeply, and I think it's one of the most alarming things, we all saw this video, right? There's nothing graphic in it, but there are implications. Like, obviously they did something sexual in those 2 minutes, right? I doubt they were talking about Pride and Prejudice. I don't know if I'm becoming old school. Am I becoming a boomer who's too young to be a boomer but has a boomer mentality? I don't know. I don't know if there's something wrong with me. That's also what's concerning me because there are plenty of things wrong with me. But in this respect, I don't know if I'm just becoming traditional, but like, would you not feel uncomfortable if your mom or dad or nieces or nephews, younger brothers or sisters, anyone related to you, do you really want them to know this much about your sex life? Do you want them to really know that you're having whatever type of relationships with randos who aren't even medically tested, who might transmit something to you? Like, I'm not going to go into catastrophizing, but you can see how very quickly we can get into very dire situations if we just consider one element of this going wrong. What scares me a lot is also the fact that she is making a lot of money from this, which it's not about the money. It's about who is watching this? Who is this going to make an impression on? Because in my opinion, let's say you're struggling for money, you're struggling to make ends meet, which is a lot of people these days realistically. You see a woman who basically goes into a room with someone for 2 minutes, does whatever, makes clips about it on TikTok, and then posts it on OnlyFans or whatever the fuck, goes viral. What might you be inclined to do? If someone gets to the end of the rope enough, this stuff might start seeming like it's a good idea, when realistically, it might be a good idea for certain people might be built for that type of life, blah, blah, blah. I feel like we're inching very close to falling into a pit we will not be able to get out of. Because the more we normalize this, the more men and women just default into this. I don't think it's gonna end well, because like I said, not everyone's built for this, but people kind of assume they are, in my opinion. And people can say whatever they want about sex work, whether you're for it or against it, but like any other job, there are people who are built for it and people who might be actually traumatized by it. And that's the thing that also alarms me. Of course, there's also my personal opinion, wherein these things are not only dangerous, but they're, in my opinion, morally reprehensible because you are taking risks for the sake of taking risks, and that's usually how people get burned. I just feel really uncomfortable seeing this shit because the acting like it's normal gives me uncanny valley. It's like, it's not normal for you to find 100 random guys on the street, have them come in, literally, just go on with your life as usual. And we saw that even with the other OnlyFans girl who started crying and was like freaked out after having sex with all those people because, yeah, now you realize what you're actually paying. You're not just giving your body, it's going to affect your brain in some way. This isn't even about old school values of like wait until marriage or whatever. No one's even saying that. But I think it's really the thing I was saying about mukbang. This is the equivalent of people who do 10,000 calorie challenges, but every single day is a different challenge, but it's still as detrimental. So one day it's 10,000 calories, another day it's I'm gonna eat 20 pizzas, another day is I'm gonna eat burgers until I need to go to the hospital. All of these are different versions, but they boil down to the same thing. And after a while, that same thing will end up hurting you. Now, obviously, we can also talk about the repercussions of what's gonna happen in your future. And realistically, this might hurt someone's feelings, but if you do shit like this, like sleeping with 100 men in 24 hours, it will be very difficult for you to ever have any other career. And this is the least of the problems because before we're talking about psychological issues and medical issues, which are far more important because that's your body. Even in the big picture, I think people are forgetting, maybe in your echo chamber, doing all of this isn't necessarily normal, but it's less crazy than it actually is. Outside, in the real world, if you said any of the things I just said out loud, like, hey, this girl slept with 100 guys in 24 hours, that's someone who's never going to find another job in another industry, unless it's an industry that doesn't care, which you probably should be a little concerned if they don't care at all. Or it's an industry that is just trying to benefit off of you, probably because of what you did prior. But other than that, you will always forever be categorized as the woman who slept with 100 men in 24 hours. Which also, if we really go into it, will limit your possibilities with partners. Like, you might find a partner who's completely chill with all of that, the same way that porn stars have partners, but you have to find someone who's chill with that, and I don't know many people who are. In every single way, this is alarming, from your well-being physically, mentally, emotionally. It's also questionable for your future. It's also questionable for the people seeing it who didn't sign up to see it. Me. Thankfully, I'm not impressionable, but like I said, if I were struggling for money and I were impressionable, would this push me towards that behavior? Anyway, this video rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know if I want to use that term. This video was alarming to me because of all of the reasons I just listed. And I also think it's worth having a discussion because I feel like so much of this gets shut down immediately online as shaming or being sex negative. And first of all, I'm not shaming her, but I do think we should bring back shaming to a degree because it's getting a little out of control out there. But aside from that, it's a question of, it's a discussion. No one's saying she can't do what she wants. No one's saying that she is wrong by default. She's wrong in my opinion, and see? Coincidence? I think not. But seriously, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.